The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Trader's Edge with Steve Rhodes. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. The Trader's Edge. Now, Steve Rhodes.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to the June 23rd, the magical Monday edition of today's Trader's Edge Show. I'm your host, Stevie Perseverance Rhodes, who absolutely knows that each of us should always be pioneers of our future versus prisoners of our past. Hope everyone out there's having a great day. Hey, let's make sure we have an extraordinary one. Now, the easiest way to do that, well, it's to always remember that life is happening for us, not to us. That's right. When you and I make that one little 2x4 shift, means we can find the gift in every set of circumstance that life is going to toss at us. Now, today, you and I, we're going to go check on the circumstance of these markets. We'll go figure out what those bulls and bears, what those buyers and sellers are communicating to you and I at just past 11 o'clock in the morning. I do want you to know that I'm absolutely grateful for your presence here. But even more important than that, and that's this. During this next 53 minutes, I'm here to serve you. So feel free to send me an email. Send it off to steve@tfnn.com. Inside the subject heading, please put radio show question. Of course, if you're inside our Tiger's Den, well, then any and every ping will do. So let's go ahead and get this show started on Magical Monday. Of course, this is Tiger Financial News Network. I'm Steve Rhodes. Welcome to the show. We begin our day here with a bit of a rally that's going on. All the U.S. indices that we track are trading to the upside. Dow up 110, S&P 30, 151 for the NASDAQ 100, 7 points for the Russell. Trend is up 66, semis up 31, NASDAQ Composite 117, New York Stock Exchange up 36 points. Gold is trading out at 34.01, that's up 16 bucks. Silver trading up 36.26, that's up a quarter. Light sweet crude 72.96, that's down 88 pennies. Light sweet natural gas is printed out at 3.83. That's off 11 cents. Copper futures are basically flat out there. Nothing really here to report on as far as the TD9 counts. I do have the charts here for the Qs on my screen right now. We just take a quick peek at those here. If you take a look at the daily time frame for the QQQ ETF out here, we've got the Qs that have got that Rhodes Momentum Indicator top that formed on June 3rd. Now what we have, June 11th, I should say. And we had on Friday, price test and reject, profile support, 525.48. We had that same thing take place this morning. So that's a real key level of support, 525.48. If the QQQ were to close below that, it would open up the door for a move back to its breakout level of support. That's at 511.93. We don't have that at this moment to be concerned about, only if you see it close below 5.25. If you look at the weekly time frame chart, the weekly time frame chart is going to go ahead and complete a TD9 count top this week. It has already formed the TD9 count top. It does that once we have a successful bar number 9. Well, that's what took place last week. The high of the pattern is bar number 8, so it is a definitely a TD9 count top. Now, the high of the pattern can take place this week out here. Now, we just had a 2-week pullback. Could easily see this week rallying higher. By the way, its upside price target is 540.81. Price remains above its green oscillator and change line. Price remains above the top of its profile. So even though it has a weekly TD9 count top, its overall signal is neutral. The monthly time frame, price is trading right up into profile resistance. The profile resistance on the Qs for its monthly time frame is at 529.07. We're at 529.96. Price is pushing into the swing point, which was February 2025. 585 million shares. Today's the 23rd. We have volume so far for this month at 650. So 650 is pushing to 585. When you close inside a swing point, and it looks like we're certainly going to close inside that swing point, and you do it with volume, that really suggests getting up and testing the high, 540.81. So how do you put all this together? Well, the way I would put this together is we're pushing into that monthly swing point with volume. The weekly's got a TD9 count top that's going to complete this week. This looks to me, and in a daily profile support is held, this looks like to me price wants to really make a run towards that 540.81-ish level out there. That is his TD9 count breakdown resistance area. So that's what's going on with the Qs. Now, just out of curiosity, what's going on with the QQEW, the equal-weighted version of the Qs? Because that's important for us to take a look at, because oftentimes it is the equal-weighted ETF that really points the true direction of the market. So when we take a look at its daily time frame, what we have here is a wave number 7, letter G top out there, with price basically finding support at its TD9 at the bottom of its profile, 131.96. Now, we closed below it on Friday. We're trading back above it today. If price does remain below it, in other words, at day's end closes back below 131.96, the QQEW would be signaling that it wants to move lower. Now, its price target could be the breakout level at 122.17, but it's got swing points that it's got to deal with before it gets there. The swing point, for example, of May 23rd. But right now, QQEW is back inside its profile, so a further rally can ensue. Now, the interesting thing is that the Qs themselves have that weekly TD9 count top. The equal weight, not to be found. No TD9 count top in place. What the weekly chart is doing out here for the equal weighted ETF is price has found resistance at that breakdown level, 132.75. Now that can be a top. So if you were to put this together with the Qs out there, you can get where both these weekly charts actually are forming top. Now, if at week's end, price were to close above 132.75, that's saying maybe not so fast out here. Now, the swing point for the QQEW, we just began that. But if we take a look at February the 21st out there, 336,000 shares. Just curious, what were we pushing last week? We were at 124,000 shares. The week before, 188. So we're pushing into the equal-weighted ETF with lighter volume. In fact, we've had tested rejection of that swing point out there. So is there a top inside the weekly chart for the QQEW? As long as price remains below 132.75, the answer to that question is yes. And the answer is no if price closes above that level. On a monthly time frame, price is traded into its swing point from February of 2025, 1.3 billion shares traded then. So far, we've done for the month 578,000. So to the extent that the equal weight is going to tell us the true story about what's going on here, that suggests caution. Caution, Will Robinson. Okay, so that's what we've got going on there. Let's take a quick peek in here at the New York Stock Exchange. It's an advanced decline oscillator, which has remained below the zero threshold level. It is still below the zero threshold level today. That tells us that sellers have an edge. The issue with regard to sellers having an edge with regard to the New York Stock Exchange advanced decline oscillator comes from the VIX index. The VIX index remains below its 50-day exponential moving average. The 50-day is at 2099. That provides buyers with an edge. So we've got a two-edged sword here, so to speak, and that's why we have kind of this more neutral stance with regard to these two indicators. If both of them get on board with each other, meaning the advanced decline oscillator remains below the zero threshold level, combined with the spot VIX trading above the 50-day, then we will start to see some downside movement. In the case of the New York Stock Exchange, that downside movement ought to take us towards the 19,599.43 level. That is its TD9 count breakout area. So we come back to this break, and yes, we're going to go to a breakout there. We're going to take a look at QUBT and AMZN, Amazon for Duncan Steve inside the Tiger's Den. Of course, I'd love to hear from you as well. We're going to look at soybeans for Gray Rock. We're going to look at Pan American Silver for Zip. Of course, I'd love to hear from you as well. Steve at TFNN.com. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Let's just take a quick peek here at the daily equity future contracts out here on the ES Mini. You can see that price continues to hold support. This is the one to really keep our eye on. Support being the bottom of its profile, which is at 59.93. We tested and rejected this back on June 13th. We tested rejected on Friday. We tested and rejected it earlier this morning. The NQ is getting back inside its profile. In order to do that, it needs a close above 21,904. Dow Equity Future Contract is trying to do the same. That needs a close above 42,623. Russell 2000 trying to do the same as well. That requires a close above 21,2690 out there. We have had 3 consecutive days to the downside, both for the ES and the NQ. So no reason not to have a 1 to 2 day rally out there. So that's what we see with regard to the daily equity future contracts. I don't really think there's anything else out here that I need to share with you before we go on. Well, I guess one thing that I could do, let's go ahead and do it, is just take a look at the intraday charts here for the ES Mini as an example. So we take a look at these charts. What pops up right now as far as we should be concerned? I'd have to say, believe it or not, it goes to a short-term time frame chart out there. That short-term time frame chart, I'm really multitasking here, trying to do something in the background while I'm doing this and kind of struggle. Let's skip that idea. So on the 15-minute time frame chart, you get a TD9 count top that takes place at 10:30. Price pulls back and tests support, much to that green oscillator and change line. So its work to the downside may be over. And that then says, if the work to the downside is over, how about the work to the upside? Therefore, if we get a close above the 15-minute TD9 count high, that's at 60.5825, that is going to suggest that we have a further rally. That further rally ought to take us up towards 60.72, 60.73. 60.72 is a TD9 count breakdown resistance level for the 2-hour time frame chart. 60, 73, 74 is the top of the 240-minute profile, top of the 5-hour profile out there. So, yeah, that's where price would head to the upside, or should head to the upside. That is if we get a close above the 15-minute TD9 count high, 60.5824. That's what's going on inside the ES. Let's go check out the NQ out here, see what it is doing. And we'll first focus probably on the 15-minute chart, see if we've got some kind of synergy there. And if we don't, we don't. And at this stage here, I see a wave number 7 top on the 15-minute time frame chart, and also a TD9 count top. That TD9 count top found support both inside its buy zone of that 15-minute profile as well as that green oscillator and change line. So the key level here is 22.018. Your price closed about 22.018 for the NQ. We're likely looking at a move up towards the 22.082, 22.097 level, 22.082 being the TD9 count breakdown resistance level for the 2-hour chart, and then the 5-hour and 4-hour profile resistance levels are at the 22.097 area. So that's what's going on with regard to the ES and the NQ at this moment in time. Let's go switch and take a look at some of the requests that have come in. We don't want to fall behind on those. The first one coming in from Duncan Steve inside the Tiger's Den. Thank you for that, Duncan. You want to take a look at QUBT. We take a look at QUBT for the daily time frame. Beautiful TD9 count top out there that has led to nothing more than a consolidation with inside its profile. Profile support, in essence, being tested this morning. It is a buy zone. The buy zone is between 1536 and 1721. So another QUBT, after forming 2 topping signals out there, has held support. If, on the other hand, price were to close below 1536, we would see a move back to 1166. On a weekly time frame, we have a TD9 count top that is likely to form this week. All it needs is a close above, on Friday, a close above 1331. We're at 1743. Now, this has a TD9 count top that is likely going to go ahead and form this week, complete next week. The daily time frame, as we said, the work to the downside is done. All right, well, it was done, but now it's, and it may, in fact, I just have to, at this stage here, the work to the downside of the daily time frame is done. What we don't know about the weekly time frame was last week's bar number 8 really the high, and that ends up getting taken out in the next couple weeks? I don't know the answer to that question, Steve-O. If we were to take out the daily TD9 count top, then we'd have to come back and try to really assess things that way. But right now, you got a daily top and a consolidation, a weekly top that is in the process of forming out there. So hope that helps out with QUBT. Let's see if Stevie can be a little bit more precise. Oh, it was pretty precise there, I think. But if not, on Amazon, AMZN. And Amazon last Thursday formed a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top for its daily time frame. It did that while price was trading with inside the profile, which is doing right now. And it has a buy zone, which is between 204.25 and 207.40. So the daily time frame may have found support at that buy zone. The weekly time frame, I do not see any kind of a topping pattern out here. None. Where support here, you can give you 2 levels, Dunk. The first is going to be the top of its weekly profile, 202.39. But before price could get to that level, it would have to deal with its oscillator and change line. That's at 206.17. Monthly time frame, consolidation with inside its profile. As long as price remains above that green oscillator and change line, its conditions are somewhat bullish. And that's 207.70. So a daily top, a weekly no top, daily finding support in the buy zone. The monthly chart looks like it wants to rally. So that's what we see when we take a look at Amazon. Duncan, thank you for starting us off on this Monday, June what is today? June is the 23rd, and appreciate that. Gray Rock wants to go take a look at soybeans. So let's pull up the November soybean contract for Gray Rock, which is trading lower, and it's trading right now. It's testing profile support. And profile support is at the exact number of 104813. Let's just call it 1048. If price closed below 1048, we're at 1047.50, then that's going to suggest lower price. Now, suggest lower price because we've got a green oscillator and change line. That's a bullish condition, but profile would be below support. So, and that's only day 1, but a second consecutive close below that. Gray would take us back likely to its most recent swing low area. That's either the lows of June 3rd, which are down at 10-15 could be the lows of May 1st, which are down at the 10-11 area out there. On a weekly time frame, the weekly time frame shows the real picture, doesn't it? The weekly time frame shows a very clear consolidation pattern. And we've just been to the top of the consolidation. And, you know, Obi-Wan would tell us if you can't bust them to the upside, price is going to try to bust. Shoot, I screwed that up. Not the first time, not the last time, but let me try to do this again here so I can draw in the consolidation. Let's start from the proper spot here, Stevie. So here's the top of the consolidation, and now here is the bottom of the consolidation. So price could not bust them to the upside, Gray. And if we can't bust them to the upside, now it's going to try to bust them to the downside. Now, the first level of support on a weekly time frame, first, you've got the daily, right? So what I'm going to say about the weekly is not going to come to fruition until we see a close below 1048. If we do get that, then we're likely to see a move to 1043, top of the weekly profile. We've been above the top of the weekly profile. It was bearish in structure, I should say. We've been above it for more than 2 weeks out there, or we've been above for 2 weeks exactly. So if there's only a counter trend move to the downside for November soybeans out there, it should find support between the 1033 and 1043 level out there. Gray, that's what I see when I take a look at soybeans. Hope that provided you with the info you were looking for. If not, let me know what else you need, and I'll be happy to get that to you. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, traversed back to all-time highs, and we now have a trade war looming. Trying to play this chop as an individual trader leads to death by 1,000 cuts. Where does this market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Tariffs, trade wars, analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento over the second and fourth Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading. Larry has been through many markets just like this one, and the insight he provides is invaluable. The dates for this month are April 11th and 25th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
This portion of the Trader's Edge is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at direction.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. So we're taking a look at Pan American Silver, PAAS out here. It does look like, let me just make sure, it looks like on the daily time frame, let me just make sure of this. Looks like it did complete a sell the D point top. Let me just make sure, though. Nope, I was wrong about that. It did make the full extension. So on a daily time frame, Zip, for Pan American Silver, PAAS, you've just got a consolidation with inside its daily profile. Quite frankly, it's with inside the upper portion of the profile between 28.50 and 29.66. But there is support, profile support at 27.35. Weekly time frame does have a wave number 7 top. That was confirmed last week. And if price can tick above the high from 2 weeks ago, that high being 29.66, you'll be back. That pattern gets negated. You'll be back off to the races, in essence, to the upside. Now, price got to close above that 29.66 profile resistance level. The monthly time frame is nothing but bullish. It's traded above profile resistance. It is traded above its green oscillator and change line. It's telling you that over time, Pan American Silver wants to make a run for 34.63 out there. So that's what I see, Zip, when we take a look at Pan American Silver. S&P wanted to take a look at Ethereum. I don't actually have access to the coin itself, but we do have that ETF, ETHE, and that's what we're going to take a look at out here. And we take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum forms a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top. It does that on the trading section of June the 12th out there. And now, Friday, price closed below profile support. We are below it again today, and price is testing a key level of support. And that happens to be the top of its weekly profile. The top of the weekly profile is at 1866. We're at 1881. A close below 1866 ought to get us back towards 1777. S&P 1777 is the center of its bearish structured weekly profile. That price has been above for more than 2 consecutive weeks. If Ethereum on its pullback is only seen this as a counter trend move to the downside, price will find support between 1777 and 1866 out there. And right now it's found support at the 1866 level. So as this daily chart here looks, daily chart says I'd love to get down and tag 1354. Stevie has to call not so fast on that. And that means that you're going to really be paying attention to Ethereum, at least the ETF, the weekly time frame. Take a snapshot of this picture. The weekly profiles are not likely to change out there. And that's what will kind of be your guiding light as to what the intent of Ethereum is. Now, monthly time frame, nothing more than a consolidation with inside profile support at 1268 and profile resistance at 2545. Price is also finding resistance at its oscillator and change line. So that's at the 2231 level out there. So with regard to Ethereum, is there anything else for me to really share out here? Not much else that I can really see. We pulled back for 3 consecutive days. It would make sense to have a couple-day rally from here. Well, actually, today's going to be 4th day to the downside, so it would make sense to have a rally from here. But that's what I can provide you with. So I hope that gave you the information you're looking for, S&P. And as always, thank you very much. We're going to take a look at a ticker symbol, GLXY. Whoops. GLXY is something that I believe is primarily, nope, that was Bitcoin. Oh, it was Bitcoin. We will come back to GLXY. I can't get Ethereum, but I can't get Bitcoin. Now, interesting here in Bitcoin, Bitcoin is trading below profile support, just like Ethereum closed below it on Friday. It is trading below it again today. Now, the weekly time frame, because I'm looking at the future contract, it's the support level out here is at 99,585. So that is the key level if you're looking at Bitcoin or using Ethereum from a Bitcoin standpoint. What we've got out there is that if price close below 99,585, you should expect and anticipate lower price. Now, I see an A to B equals CD pattern to the downside. Looks like price maybe on the daily time frame has already hit the 1-to-1 level out there, or is really close to it. Now, I'm not sure if that's a 0.786 retracement or not. Looks like it is pretty close. So a bullish reversal candle would form a Gartley buy pattern inside of Bitcoin as well. So hope that helped you out with regard to Ethereum and just really digital currency coins themselves. Let's take a look now at GLXY. This is for Nitram inside the Tiger's Den out there. Now, this is the U.S. version. I believe that this is traded on the Canadian, the Toronto Stock Exchange out here. What I can share with you that it's doing, we're basically not too many people in this equity, if this is the correct equity, are in a very winning position out there. In fact, the winning position, are those folks that bought this morning as price got down to what the current low is at 1740. Now, what's required here is a bullish reversal candle to confirm a Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom. You can see that price is dealing with support out here, or resistance right now. Resistance being the bottom of that profile. It's really support, 1851. Hasn't closed below it. But if you do close below it today, it increases the odds of lower price. If we hold it, then you got just a consolidation pattern between the 1851 level and between 1975 and 2037. Not enough time has passed for us to be able to get any data, really, from the weekly or the monthly time frame chart for you. Now, maybe you've got further data on the Toronto Stock Exchange, but that's not what I have with regard to the New York Stock Exchange. So I hope that's the correct instrument, and I hope that helps you out. And if not, my apology. SATP would like to take a look at Target. TGT is the ticker symbol out there. So if we take a look at Target right now formed a Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom. That was back in the April time period. And now we have price just trading with inside its profile. It found support this morning, or very close to finding support, at 93.99. We got down to a low of 94.17. The 93.99 was the bottom of that daily profile. On a daily time frame, I don't see any kind of topping pattern, just a consolidation with inside profile. If you're looking to add to your position, well, right around here or 93.99, if you really got down to that tick, would be a place that you could add. The weekly time frame says careful on the add, only in that it formed a nice TD9 count bottom set. It does that, we can see back here on April the 11th. That then leads to a rally. Now, the following week, a new profile forms that is bullish in structure. Price remained below it for more than 2 consecutive weeks. And then when price did try to get inside that profile, which was the week of May 16th, it found resistance near that center line. 103.57 is the center line. It got up to 103 even Steven. So it's saying that the weekly chart was suggesting Target was just in a counter trend rally move. Well, on a monthly time frame, we are trading below profile support. Target took out a swing point from October of 2023. There were 100 million shares there. It was taken out with 191 million shares. Not ideal. So what Stevie's going to suggest with regard to Target here, Sat, I think you're trying to add a few shares here. I'd be patient and I'd wait. The charts are communicating to you and I. Look, the daily's doing a consolidation thing. But the weekly is saying, well, I've already tested the area and told you it's just a counter trend move. And the monthly is saying it needs lower price. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We come back from this break. We're going to look at Procter & Gamble. We're going to take a look at Teladoc out there, TDOC, and anything else. Send me an email, steve@tfnn.com, or inside the Tiger's Den. Any ping will do.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstad releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento. A pro's pro with over 50 years of experience, Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. We're taking a look at Procter & Gamble. Ticker symbol here is PG. This is also for SATP inside the Tiger's Den. So we see that today price has rallied right up into resistance. Resistance being the top of his profile, which is at 160 even Steven. Now, if price can get above the top of that profile, the next resistance level would be its oscillator and change line. That's currently printed 160.82. This negated its TD9 count bottom a couple of days ago, so I don't really have a bottom pattern per se. Now, what does per se mean? Well, I mean, there's a legal sense of what that says, but what I'm really referring to is that if we take a look at this instrument, we got down in this area back on April 9th. We did that with 10 million shares. We then get back to this area on April 24th, 20 million shares. Don't bust through it. We get back to this area again on May the 12th with 7 million shares. That level holds. We get back to this area again, June 18th, 7 million shares. So we've got a nice consolidation, if you will, a nice consolidating pattern. You can even see it on the daily time frame out there. So you're near the bottom of the consolidation set. So, you know, to the extent that you got a real hankering for wanting to own Procter & Gamble, then wait to see if this thing finds resistance at the top of its profile, 160. And then if it pulls back, you know you're in the 158-ish type area out there to add a few shares. On a weekly time frame, you can see the consolidation pattern as well. What does that really tell us? It really tells us that if price were to close the low from April 25th out there, 156.58, we're headed lower. Headed lower to where? Well, it all depends. If we close below that, you would trigger an A to B equals CD pattern to the downside. It would look something like this. Now, we have not triggered it just yet, but if we were to close below that swing point with lighter volume, you would have a weekly A to B equals CD pattern getting back to 147-ish area, and at 146.28 is a weekly TD9 count breakout level. So the only thing you have going for you, Sat, on Procter & Gamble is the potential of this consolidated pattern and being near the bottom of it. That's the only thing that I see here as a potential signal for you to take a long trade there. The monthly time frame it has lost its momentum and may want to hit the 152.08 area out there. So that's what I see when we take a look at Procter & Gamble. Thank you always for your requests. Much appreciated. I'll look forward to your next ones. Shadow inside the Tiger's Den is interested in Teladoc. Wants to do a little bit of bottom fishing out here. Bottom fishing? What do you mean bottom fishing? Well, if you take a look at Teladoc, back in the COVID days out there, this thing got up to a high in February of 2021 at $308. It's now $726. This is a pity and a pity party. Why? Because Teladoc, pretty cool thing. I think many of us have used that feature out there. I think that's a beautiful thing, certainly time efficient. But your question was, has it bottomed? Well, if I take a look at, let me do it like this, might be easier for me to see. On a monthly time frame, the answer to that question is no. So long-term, price remains below profile support. No bottom signal out there. Trading at 727 says it can even get lower in price. We look at the weekly time frame chart. The weekly time frame chart does have a TD9 count bottom formed back in April 25th. What have we done for 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 weeks? We have traded sideways. This is the accumulation part of the process, perhaps. So, do you want to be stuck, Shadow? You're asking, has it bottomed? Do you want to be stuck in the accumulation phase, which can go on for a long period of time? If you look at the daily time frame chart, you had a Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom on April 22nd. You can see that has led to sideways movement out there. What Tom would tell us, he would say, no, don't be buying the, well, I mean, if you really have a hankering, for wanting Teladoc, do as you please. But he would suggest from a trading standpoint, when you're under accumulation like this, what you want to do is wait for some kind of sign of strength, right? Wait for a sign of strength. What's a sign of strength? Wide price spread, accelerated volume. Then what do? Do you chase it? No. You wait, and it may be a days, it may be a week, maybe weeks. What you do is you buy a retracement on lighter volume out there. So that would be the suggestion I believe that Obi-Wan would give you on Teladoc, and that's the suggestion that Stevie will give you. But your question was, has it bottomed? And the answer for the daily and weekly is yes. But if you think that it's going to take off like a rocket ship to the moon, I think that the answer to that question is no. Instead, it looks to Stevie more like it's dead money than live money. Let's go take an SQQQ. We don't normally look at the triple. I think this is a triple for the Qs out there. And Duncan, Steve, I believe if I've got your question correct, you're asking, is there any significance? Let me actually open up the chart. We'll all be at the exact same place. There's a blue arrow out there. That blue arrow happens to be the date of April the 7th. And your question reads like this. Wondering if the April 7th, 57-ish, means anything in the grand scheme compared to where it is right now. So is your question, which I'm going to assume, bad thing, because you know what it can do, make, out of both of us, but mostly me out there. I'm going to assume that you're wondering, can price get back to that high? First, what is it? What do we have on that day? I got nothing. I got zip. We know what I do have, though. A couple days later, we've got a sell the D point top is what it looks like to Stevie. So here's your A to B point out there. If I just simply move this over to where the C point is, you'll see we did more than a 1-to-1 A to B equals CD pattern. Big old bearish engulfing candle the week of April 9th out there. We've been trading lower since then. So the answer is, it's really, now let's put up the QQQ ETF out here. And just out of curiosity, we'll go take a look at April 7th. We'll see what, piece of information that might be giving us. I don't know. Let's go back here. It was April 7th, right? So that's going to be the opposite. It's going to be the inverse, right? So April 7th out here had volume of 161 million shares. Next day, 101. The day after that, 142. The day before that was 117. The day before that was 70 million shares. Now, Steve-O, if you were to ask me the question, is there any pertinence? You don't have to use the word pertinence. Is there anything special about April 7th when you take a look at the QQQ ETF out there? And my answer to that question would be yes. That was a high volume low. And if we go back, if I put up Stevie's black screen charts out there, but you can do this on your screen, you go back, and you can go back for decades now, and you go take a look at every major bottom inside of QQQ. And what are you going to see? This is the exact opposite of what Obi-Wan has taught us. And that is this, that the Qs make bottoms with volume. Sometimes they get tested, but not always. And when I say not always, I'm not talking like it's a 1 in 10 or something like that. It's more of a coin toss out there. But what happens with regard to the Qs, and everybody can use this here, and it's worked for decades, is when you see those high volume bottoms that are forming out there, those are the ones that are nice, solid bottoms, and that's what we've got in place right now. So I hope that helped you out there, Steve-O, at least with regard to easier for me to take a look at the individual ETF versus a double or a triple out there. So thanks for your request. No other requests that I see inside the den out there. If I overlook something, if you'd be kind enough to just retype in that symbol or something, I'll be happy to get to it. I'm just checking the email system, and I don't see anything here. And I see one thing that's come in. So while we're at this breakout here for Joe, we're going to go ahead and put up the chart for natural gas. And the question is, where's the next resistance level? Let's go find out. We'll be right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pros pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
Welcome back, folks. So we take a look at the charts here for natural gas. The question coming in from Joe is, where is resistance? Joe, I think the question you want to ask is, where is support? So resistance is clearly at there's a new profile that's formed on the daily time frame. So the first answer to your question, resistance at $4.97, top of its profile. Price is pulling back towards its buy zone. The buy zone exists between 363 and 376 out there with additional support at 378. So price is pulling back into that buy zone. Well, price is pulling back into that buy zone. You would normally see, if it's a bottom, what you would normally see is some intraday bottom signals. So let's go check on those. What do we have? 5-hour time frame chart. If price does not hold $3.84, that is not the bottom. That's at CD9 count breakout level. We're only in bar number 7. We're trading below profile support on the 240-minute chart without a bottom. Pattern looks like an A to B equals CD pattern is out there. So that says that this needs a bullish reversal. First, let's see if we've attained the 1-to-1 price objective area. Let's move that over here. And the answer is we have not. So that is suggesting lower price. Same thing on the 2-hour time frame chart. A negated TD9 count bottom pattern on the 60-minute time frame chart. We are getting a Rhodes momentum indicator signal for the 30-minute out here. That's going to require at least a close above 386 out there to at least suggest a further rally. So it's not so much where resistance is at, it's where support. The question is this bottoming just yet? And I think right now you need more evidence for that. Real quickly here, let's take a look at BAC. That came in from Monterey Mo inside the Tiger's Den. BAC, if it were to form a bearish reversal candle today, it would identify a Rhodes momentum indicator top for its daily time frame. Short of that, price wants to rally further. It's trading above resistance. Both profile and its oscillator change on the weekly time frame chart wants to rally to 46.96. The monthly time frame chart is trading inside its swing point from November of 2024. Volume there was 776 million shares. We're in it already with 519. Really looks to me like unless the daily generates a bearish reversal candle, that what BAC wants to do is further rally. Folks, stay tuned for all the great program we've got lined up for you. I will see you tomorrow on Terrific Tuesday. Have a marvelous Monday. Be safe out there. Take care. We'll see you soon.